The following presentation is brought to you by the RELM Network.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 2 of The Drive on Vince Russo's The Brand. I'm your host, Zac Eisenstein. On The Drive, we check in with indie wrestlers and we talk about their drive to succeed in the underground wrestling world, to make it to the big time, to make their dreams come true, and all that good stuff. This is our second time going through the recording of this. We didn't get too far the first time, but I'm just letting you know, it's our second time. We only got about 2 minutes in the first time, and then I think either my computer was doing something or Google was doing something or whatever. The gods didn't want us to do it on the first try. So we're here again for the second one. My guest today is a guy who, without whom I wouldn't have any experience at wrestling shows other than sitting in the crowd and acting a fool. And I'll always appreciate, sorry, that was my dryer being done, that noise. But anyway, I'll get into all that. This is a great guy. I owe a lot to him. He's a good buddy of mine. We got fucked up at the bar the other night. This is Brian Johnson. What's up, yo?
Hey, what's going on, buddy? That's a great intro to talk about, instead of watching me wrestle, about getting fucked up on a Tuesday. But thanks, man.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, WWE's PG is going to be calling me in any minute now to get me hired. Thanks.
People got to know that you're cool. You know, you're not a stiff dude.
I thought talking to you made me cool. That was just by default.
I don't know, man. Maybe with some people, but I don't know about with. I think me talking to you makes me cool. Is more accurate with wrestling.
Maybe. No one knows who I am, bro.
I don't know, man. No one knows who I am. I'm just very, I was thinking about it because there's people who do because of my band, obviously, and then there's people, but I don't. This is my first time saying this on one of the shows, and like, I'm the one running Vince Russo's The Brand Twitter. So whatever, that's out there. I'm the one doing it.
Cool.
I'm realizing.
Man.
What?
Do you follow me?
We do, actually, yeah. We follow
cool.
you and follow you and Adam.
Oh, he's a good guy to follow. He's huge. He's the man.
He's a big guy. All right, let's start. I like starting with current stuff. So what's talk about now and maybe how the last month or so has been for you, or what you got coming up in the next month, or what's going on in the world of number one Brian Johnson.
Well, man, it's cliche, but like every day, it's just one step at a time. Like pro wrestling's so bullshit. I don't know. I love, you don't know who's saying what about this and so I try to keep to myself in a sense of in what I do, but I'm trying to get out there a lot more, especially this year. I had a couple good mentors get in touch with me about really grinding and getting out there. So I picked up a couple dates. I'll have my busiest month ever in April, and we're doing, I got a couple different gimmicks floating around, get me different places. I'm in Wharton, New Jersey every first Friday. I'm in Delaware once a month, just about, maybe once every 6 weeks for Right Coast Pro. That's a great place.
Cool.
And OTW's, that's my home ground place. They're the three main, and then I was in Ohio last week or 2 weeks ago, and we're hoping for something out in the Midwest over the summer. So we're just grinding, man.
That's awesome. I want to explain to them. So OTW is a wrestling promotion in Williamstown, New Jersey, South Jersey. Anything that I know about reffing matches, which isn't a lot, but anything I know, these guys taught me, and they really treated me like family there, and it's a great place to go see shows. I just wanted to explain what OTW was to them. But Brian, I don't know, would you call yourself sort of the ringleader? I would, from an outsider's perspective, but I don't know if you want to call yourself that, even though you are.
I fell into a position where I help out a lot. That's what I like to say. It's Jim's building, Jim's name's on it. I just fell into a position where I help out a lot, and I'm happy to help. We have a great group of guys. I wouldn't be helping out if I didn't have the guys that I had around me. It's all of them, really.
Yeah, I want to tell them too. So Jim, he's talking about Jim Molyneux, he's original, right? Original ECW referee.
Watch out, man.
Actually, watch it.
If you want to see a great Jim Molyneux clip, go to the first ECW WWE pay-per-view. Mike Awesome drops him on his head on a power bomb, and we all rib him about it. He won't be happy.
Really?
one, but if Jim's infamous for anything, it's being dropped on his head by Mike Awesome at the first one night stand. It is hilarious and a must watch for all listeners of this podcast. Sorry, Jim.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And Jim's a great guy. He's always down to for someone. I imagine if I had done the time in the business that he had, and have put all the years into it, it doesn't seem like Jim's lost any kind of affection for pro wrestling. Or it doesn't seem like he's lost any kind of love for it at all.
No, not at all. And I joke about the Mike Awesome thing, but Jim's great. He's always there. He helps me, and we help each other out with a lot of things. Everyone says I'm the ringleader, but I do a lot of the more work that's seen. He's handling a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff and dealing with payments and a lot of other things that I wouldn't want to nor have any interest in dealing with. So before I joke about him, all credit due to Jim Ono. He helps out a ton at that place. He does.
So I hope you're okay with me saying this. I would say you at least 80% of the training sessions at OTW are led by you.
Yeah. Like I said, I fell into a position where I get to help people out, and I'm happy that 85% of those people are really, really good people. One of them being yourself, and that's what makes it easier.
Yeah, it's a great group. There's tons of people there. I want to have other people from there on the show to get them exposure on this show. But how did you fall into? So was OTW the first place that you ever led a training session?
Yeah. What happened was, to make a long story short, there was a guy named Ed who was like an uncle to me, and if he listens to this, I love him, and he'll kill me for saying that out loud. and he taught me everything I know in the ring and out of the ring when it comes to the wrestling world, and some other things too. He's a great guy. He had to go handle some things for himself, and at that point, he was, doing his thing with his family. He took care of some family things, and he's doing well for himself and just kind of keeping a watchful eye from afar. That's all I can say.
So that's interesting. So you're saying he taught you all this stuff in the beginning. What are you, 25, 26?
26, yeah.
So how old are you now when you're putting on boots for the first time?
I started wrestling when I was 17, 2007, so 8 years ago, whatever that would be. Yeah, 17, 18, 17. I was 18, 2007, November 2007.
And you've never taken any kind of break, have you?
No. I mean, OTW takes that summer break, and for sure there was a couple years where I wasn't getting booked because I was out of shape, or I wasn't, I was telling myself I was trying hard, but I wasn't. You know what I mean? It's all bullshit until you find out what it actually is. But
I went through the same thing with that. It's like for music. It's like with music. It's like when people say, people go, oh, or I tried this for a few years, and my brother, he's so talented. He's a songwriter, but he just never had that big break. He tried, and I feel like sitting there going, what did he try? Would he film a song and put it on YouTube, and nobody knocked on his door and gave him a record contract, so he tried. And you do. I know exactly how you feel, because then you reach a point where you're like, I need to get it. I need to leave my house.
And just make it happen. Just make it happen. That's what hopefully, I got some real good advice from some other people over the last, even as recently as like 3 weeks ago, just talking to a guy that, he's on TV now, and he gave me some good advice. But, nothing that I hadn't heard from others, just, sometimes one person says something a certain way and it clicks. But just good advice the last couple months to really get my feet in the ground and get moving.
Or maybe sometimes I think a lot of it has to do with where you're at in your life and how you hear the advice.
Yeah.
You might not have heard it the same way. It's like you said, it's stuff you've been hearing and thinking about, and you thought you understood. Like you said, you thought you were trying. That's what sent me down this whole rabbit hole. But that's cool, man. That's really cool. So I wanted to ask you, this is a really easy interview for me, and I don't need any notes because I've spent countless hours just watching you do your thing, wanting to ask you stuff, but not wanting to interrupt.
No.
Well, I shouldn't though. It's not like I'm gonna stand up while you got Eddie Hawkins in a headlock trying to show people something and be like, "Oh, hey, Brian." So wait a minute. But,
have you ever heard some of the questions those guys ask me? Maybe yours are a lot more intelligent. I'm kidding, guys.
I'm sure. Dude, sometimes all those guys can do things with and girls can do things with their bodies that I cannot do. I'll leave it at that.
Hey, speaking of girls, not to cut you off, we have 3 of the best girls I've ever seen work.
Go ahead, talk about them.
Oh, man. Damaris, Jasmine, and G.
I'm grabbing another beer out of my fridge, so you need to talk long enough that the camera stays about these 3 girls.
off that I don't bore everybody, but I'll go on about it. I got
Yeah,
it. Go ahead.
it's fine. It'll take me 1 second. All right, talk
Okay.
about the girls.
Yeah. Damaris was one of the first girls we had that made it to matches. We had a couple before her that tried real hard and they were cool and they did their thing. But Damaris is by far one of the toughest, baddest women on the planet. She's a little shy, but when she breaks out of that shell, boy, you better watch out. Sky's the limit. Then we got 2 other girls training still. Jasmine does managing stuff. She travels with us with the BTY gimmick that we can get into later, and she's awesome with a microphone. She's coming along. She'll be having matches in no time. And then there's this 16-year-old G who started off as a shy girl, training, and at one night busted on one of the guys in the ring, and she's become one of my favorites very quick. It's 3 girls who just working their tails off. I'm not going to tell you that ever, because there's great girls like Deanna Perrazzo's on fire. Are they like her right now? Could they? They definitely could.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, you have to have reasonable expectations for like the amount of time. Hasn't Deanna been going at it after it for a little bit too?
3 years, and she's kick ass. I can't take any credit. I know her.
She's been on Vince Russo's show, I'm pretty sure.
She's awesome. She's awesome, dude. She's real great. She comes from a great trainer and does real well. I don't want to get too much into other people. I'm trying to put some focus on those.
I know.
Those 3 are Deanna knows I love her, but those 3, yeah. Damaris, Jasmine, and G are 3 of the best students I have. They work hard, real hard.
Yeah, man. I can recall, like, guys, when he's leading these training sessions with the wrestlers, I'm literally half-baked most of the time. Like, I don't have to, not during shows, Brian, never, but sometimes I stumble in there at training a little bit after hanging out with my friends, and, and I don't, because I'm not doing anything with them, is my point. Most of the time I watch. And it's very interesting for me, and this particularly Damaris, one of the girls he's talking about, I remember, I hope she doesn't get mad at me for this, but I remember when she was like afraid to take a bump, and you guys were really, doing the old, let me push you over somebody who's on their hands and knees and trying to get all the psychological worries out of her head about dropping on her back, and you go watch her now, she just kicks ass, man. It's insane.
Yeah, she's awesome. She's
crazy.
She's one bad bitch, and I mean that in a good way.
I hope she doesn't get. You think she'll be mad at me for saying that?
She's probably going to yell at me for something. I don't know.
Whatever.
No, it's love.
I feel like she always just laughs at everything.
Yeah, but like that's what makes me worried. She might actually be mad one day and snap and beat us all up. So I think she's
starting to look like she can.
Yeah, and she's got some brothers that I think bots, so like we're really in for it. I can't fight for my life. No,
I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I think you're a shoot guy. I think you can beat people up.
Well, that's I appreciate it.
I have radar for that shit, I think.
Okay, cool.
I've always thought I had radar for that shit. Like when I go into like any kind of situation, if there's bars, anytime you gotta scan the room of the other males, I always kind of look at like that guy would fight, that guy's never been in a fight, that guy would fight. And I remember meeting you and being like, this guy beats people's asses.
Nah, man, I'm simple.
At some point, you never have fights in school?
Dude, I don't fight, man. I run my mouth a shit ton, but I don't.
That's fight. That's what I was gonna say. It's kind of surprising that.
I fight when it's necessary. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many fights you see. There's nonsense. Like, I don't know. Like, I've never been to a point where I've needed to fight. I'm like, if you did something to my family or someone else, yeah, I'll beat you up. And I've called a few people out that didn't take it, but that was their decision, not mine.
Have you ever had, without bringing up any names or venues or promotions, have you ever had anything turn or almost turn physical in a locker room?
Oh, yeah. You see how I run stuff. I'm shot that doesn't turn physical more often.
Yeah, but at OTW, no one's going to, when Brian yells at them at OTW, I don't care what anyone says. If they want to, I'll argue with everyone else till they're blue in the face. They shut up. They shut the fuck up. They'll try to act like they're not just shutting the fuck up, and they'll try to act like show some balls a little bit, which is good, but at the end of the day, if you walk through the curtain and Brian thinks you're stupid and said you were stupid, then you were stupid.
Well,
I think
that's meant in the nicest way possible to everyone. Listen, I'm not a grumpy old
guy. No, he's not a grumpy guy at all. I'll explain it perfectly. He cares about the product that his company's putting out. He's not unfair to anyone. He's just as quick to give encouragement and say good job, if not quicker. He's just a real guy. So that's the disclaimer. But anyway.
Anyway, I don't know if there's ever been a time that's almost come to blows. I've had my disagreements with people, but for as hot, I can be hot-headed. I know. Try to be level-headed that sometimes it's not it's not worth the fight. So, you end up talking things out. And I'm very rarely in the locker room alone. Like I said, we have the BTY thing, so I'm traveling with Justin and Adam and Jasmine.
Let's talk about that. Put that over. Talk about.
Oh, it's great. It's
Explain it.
Well, it's a fraternity gimmick. We really got hot down in Delaware doing this new gimmick down there. I was working down in Delaware on and off. I got booked by a guy named Bazooka Joe, who I hope listens to this, and he's one of the good people in pro wrestling and doesn't get enough credit for it.
I feel like, did I ref him once? Did I ref him maybe?
Maybe. I mean, it's like
so he was on.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. He's a great guy. He really is. But he hooked me up. He did well by me. He got me down there. Just the schedules weren't working, and it was back and forth. And then me, Adam, and Justin got talking about riding together just because we get along so well. Like, it just made sense. All can work, and them two are great and are the unspoken backbone of OTW. But they we started pushing to, try to get to Delaware together. They got in, and JJ is the guy that runs it down there, and him and Lisa have a top-notch promotion, professional beyond anything I can ever imagine running myself. And Right Coast was like, oh, we love the idea, and we're like, oh, we got a girl that manages, and that's Jasmine. She just adds another part to it because she can bump and feed, and she can talk, and she's a good-looking girl, so that helps too.
Yeah.
And the four of us together, we're packaged down there. This weekend we're main eventing, which is really cool.
That's awesome.
BTY, it's like taking everything that's fun and all of the road trip stuff you hear, Zach, and we get to put it in the ring, and it's just it's the funnest 25 minutes sometimes of my weekend. Just and we got our group chat and we hang out on our own, and those three are awesome.
It's all people you're very familiar with. It's all people in and out of the ring.
It's what wrestling's supposed to be.
Yep. How long have you guys been doing this? It's four of you, right? It's you, Justin Pusser, Adam Chandler, and
Jasmine.
And Jasmine.
Well, I was up at D2W. That's a place up in North Jersey, another good place. The guy that runs the show up there, Jamie, he takes care of me and is really good to me up there. And I got Justin and I got Jasmine on it first as a manager because two of their top guys were.
That's what I was going to ask. So so Joe gave you a thing and said, "Is there anyone kind of you want to bring?" Is that kind of?
Well, Joe got me in Delaware, and I was kind of floating around there because of scheduling. And then when they were me back, I was like, "Hey, I got these other people.
Gotcha.
Let's make it worth it." And they were like, "Okay." The way that all four of us kind of got together was up in North Jersey. I had gotten on a show, D2W, ran by this guy, Jamie. Jamie's also very good to me, treats me well. That's where I met a couple other great people like Damian Adams, who's one of the better people I've ever met in wrestling, and that's where I met Deanna and a ton of people and just networking, blah, blah, blah. Stop kissing ass. Anyway, I got Jasmine in there, and then I got Justin in there, and Adam got up there, and since we lived close, we all ride up. And Dave Davis drives with us. He's a younger guy, too.
Yep. Dave's the man.
Kicking it. But anyway, the five of us ride up, and then we got Damaris up there too now, and we got a little caravan of our own little OTW parts. But the primary ones were Justin, Adam, Jasmine. We all started going, and then I was like, "Hey, we got this Delaware opportunity, and this, that, the other thing," and the ball just kind of rolled from there. And now we're plugging some other places. It looks like we got some spots coming up in the summer, and maybe a shot in New York next month or something.
That's
April,
great, man.
Got like 12 or 11 or 12 bookings together, the four of us. So we're rolling, man.
So would you call this particular gimmick your primary pursuit right now?
Yes and no. I don't know. We only had it in one place. I guess President Brian Johnson's always the primary pursuit because I want to get over and as much as I want everyone to see wrestling's very individual too. You know what I mean? Like he's not going to.
Well, it's a single sport, really.
Yeah. See, the WWE's not signing all four of us, and Japan's not signing all four of us, and and if they do, oh my God, that's crazy.
I know you're saying you're already hoping for one of you to make it.
Yeah, and if any of them did, I'd be happy. But we're just trying to make this thing run and get some networking out there. And when I send out our emails for us to get booked, or they send out, we all include our individual stuff. Just because who knows? Like Adam's got an incredible look, something I don't have, so they might like him. And Justin can throw hands and makes a very believable pro wrestler, and that might be something they want. And then there's me and Jazz, and I think that's complete. We're all four different people that.
No, it's true. You guys are a diverse group. I think you got I would say you got like a John Cena, a Batista, and a Vader, and then Jasmine.
And then there's a Jasmine.
Yeah, and then
that's what I describe her. Yeah, Jasmine.
Yeah.
I'm kidding, Jazz. She's gonna yell.
Yeah, I mean Jasmine doesn't need a comparison. She's Jasmine.
Yeah, there's a one and only Jasmine.
Yeah, So did you play any other sports or anything growing up?
I was a dorky soccer player.
Really?
Now I played goalie. I was fairly okay at goalie.
Were you like a jock kid?
Not at all, dude. I was a
What were you
fat.
like?
Like,
Like what kind of like I try to imagine you in like 7th grade right now. You have like a Slipknot hoodie and
no,
like
not at all.
like
I got in trouble in 8th grade because, like, you have your 8th grade dance and it's just the 8th graders.
mm-hmm.
All the girls wanted to do like Fairyland and all this bullshit that I didn't want to do. So I said, hey, we should do a wrestling themed one, and I like kind of backdoored our way into the top 3 in the ballot and all this stuff. And then the teachers had to have a private meeting with me and tell me to knock it off because all the girls were threatening not to go. But I had some good ideas, man. I knew back then I went to wrestle and just kind of knew how to work behind the scenes and get myself out of stuff. But I was in a little bit of trouble for that, and I just kind of was weird, but not like dorky weird. I was a loser for sure, but just didn't hear shit for it, I guess. I don't know.
That's cool. I kind of
Loser, not a nerd. I don't know if that made sense. I followed
That's
sport.
cool. I'm trying to think. So you're somebody. I noticed you have you have one of these crazy memories, I think, with WWF stuff. By that I mean you're one of the people that I know that can be like, oh no, that wasn't the second match at WrestleMania 8. That was the second match at WrestleMania 9. So I gather that, and I wish I smoke too much weed. That's the only reason I'm not right there with you. I smoke too much weed. I'm not calling you more of a dork than me or anything.
Well, some will call me a dork, and it's bad. But
wow.
yeah, I have
most of the people who are going to listen to this are probably, no offense, Brand, right there on your level if we're thinking that's dorky. But
thanks.
It's not dorky. It's a wrestling thing. This is for wrestlers.
Yeah, no, I hear you, pal.
So my point was, or wrestling fans, you're a wrestler. My point, what I was getting to was, when you were younger and you're watching this stuff, you obviously did your homework and you watched stuff that happened before your time, stuff that you didn't remember, and you have that engraved now. Was there a point in your childhood where you were trying to figure out what the work was, like what you were really seeing? Were you just completely like kayfabed as a little kid, or was there a sense of mystery? Like, I know I'm not getting the full picture, but I got to figure out what it is. When did you start kind of trying to think about what was really going on?
That's a good question. That's like a really smart question for a wrestling podcast.
Thank you. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. It's only my second episode.
Yeah, you're doing good. At this pace, you'll have like 3 in a week or 2.
I know. Pretty cool.
It was, I always attribute it to this, and I don't know if it's right, but maybe just the way my memory serves me, was around the corner from my house. I live with my parents, so if 2 old people stop in this video, that's my mom and dad.
That's awesome.
Anyway, there was a car dealership around the corner from us, and they promoted this wrestling show that was going to be there Saturday and Sunday outside. So they
How old are you? I just am trying to set the pace right now.
I might be 3rd grade, 2nd grade. I'm young.
We got the scene set.
Yeah, and I might even be younger than that, and I might have been younger than that. My brother was into wrestling, so my dad, being the cool dad that he was, he seen that the ring was up Friday night, and, well, there's no security on the grounds, so he took my brother's friends and me and was like, yo, let's go sneak in the ring. And we snuck in, and I was running around. And they were all bigger than me, and they didn't really want to deal with me. And I'd like bite them and run away or something weird. But that day it was kind of like, oh, this seems different. Like, why could I be in a ring? And then I think we got chased off by security, or my dad got worried or something, and we left. But the next day, I'm watching Superstars a Saturday morning, and there's a job guy on TV doing whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And they're promoting it as live, or I thought it was live because I was too young and dumb to realize. He ended up being on the show that I was at. And then, like, after the show, he was taking pictures, and I just watched this dude get smacked around on TV, but then he was fairly tough here, and I was like, wow, that's weird. What happened? And
that's interesting.
Just didn't click. And then, like, Hacksaw Jim Duggan was there, and I forgot everything and just ran around with a 2x4.
So basically, you saw a guy job, and then the next night get put over and be the shit.
Yeah, and it was like, wow, why does that work? And it just started to question. And then, like, my older brother, I have an older brother.
How old is he? Or how much older?
He's 30.
He's
4
years older than you?
he's 4 years older than me. I'm pretty sure he told me it was fake, or, I'd found out. But then I didn't, like, care. And then, like, I was in that phase where, like, oh, screw you, wrestling's not fake, look. And then, like, I'd only show, like, the most,
I had that. I went through
most
that.
painful clips of all time that, yeah, clearly they just blew a spot, you asshole. They didn't actually hurt.
Yeah.
But then, like, you know, I guess I grew up and people called it fake. I was like, okay, whatever. You watch movies. I don't. Like, they're fake.
Yeah.
Life goes on.
No, I always think of that too. It's like somebody the other day or a couple weeks ago said something to me on the internet about me not being shouldn't get so concerned about because it's scripted, and my answer was, I said, I watched The Bachelor, right? Like, it's like, have you ever heard of reality? Like most of our country watches something that I consider to be way less real than pro wrestling. That's just my opinion.
No, I agree, and it's like actually unscripted reality television.
Did you ever have to deal with people really being like, "Oh, Brian, you're a fucking loser. That shit's fake"?
Oh yeah. Well, maybe not directly, like kids in high school, but I didn't like I said, I wasn't confrontational. It's kind of laughed. All right, well, I'm going to be famous one day, and will likely be at the corner bar talking about your high school career. So I don't give a shit.
That's a good way of looking at it.
But nothing direct. I'm sure like I went to college for a year and dropped out because I got a good job, and I know my mom wasn't happy, and she says she supports me, and she does. She does now. Back then, I don't know. And she had every right not to. I was fat and I barely laced my own shoes, so like she had every right to think I was going to fail. And I'm sure my brother said some stuff. He's smart and kind of, he does well. He's got a family and he's a school teacher and just great and just, So I'm sure there's detractors behind the scenes, but no one that really directly confronted me to the sense where I cared enough. Like I'm sure there was, and I was like, all right, whatever.
Yeah. So you think that there were people in your life that maybe weren't so sure what you were doing, but loved you enough that they weren't going to say anything to you?
Oh, 100%. I could probably name you 15 of them right now. Like, it is what it is.
But, hey, those are real friends. Those are real friends, and that's a real family that cares about you,
Yeah,
so.
for sure. I think there was those that thought I'd make it, and then those that kind of maybe still think it's dumb. And, yeah, I mean, dude, I'm telling you, if you look back at a Facebook or Twitter picture or Instagram, dude, look at me back then, I wouldn't have made it. Like, I was fat as shit, dude. Like, dude, you weren't a pro wrestler. I was wearing like crappy singlets, not real gear, wasn't in shape, wasn't working out. Like, everyone had every right to think like, yo, you're kind of making a mistake here. I don't blame them looking back. You know what I mean? Like, they're right. They were probably right. The guys that told me go for it probably told me the wrong decision now.
Yeah. How do you think? I like asking people about their physical transformations. Tell me what that was like.
Crazy.
Like, did you just wake up one morning and be like, fuck this? Or did something happen that you felt shitty about? Like, one guy told me he watched a tape of someone holding him up over their head and just said, I'm fucking disgusting, and that was it.
No. What happened was I won the belt at OTW. And, everyone, you don't want to be a mark, but you're a mark when you win a belt. It's cool. It was like
fuck yeah. Oh, fuck.
Yeah, it was cool. And I'm driving back, and I think I, got busted open that night or whatever. And the trainer Ed called me, just checking on me. He was always good to me, and I was like, yo, Ed, like, I want to be like considered legit. He's like, well, you're fat, pal. And I was
damn. But what is there to be said? What about the great fat wrestlers?
Well, I wasn't like. It was weird. I was more like Bo Dallas with 30 more pounds, less.
You weren't like Vader.
No, I wasn't like the bad man like Vader or Tugboat, anybody cool. Like, if I could be King Kong Bundy, dude, trust me, I would eat 6 cheeseburgers on this interview alone, but I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not 7. You know what I mean? I would just be, and that's not a knock at Bo Dallas, dude. He's legit.
No, I know. I don't think anybody thinks it is.
No, just body type is what I'm saying.
You said with 30 more pounds or something. So.
Yeah, I was ugly, dude. I was real ugly.
Damn, but now you're a stud.
Well, hey, I owe it, you know what I mean? I owe it to a lot of help. A lot of guys in the locker room pointed me in the right direction, but that guy, Ed, he took me to the gym, and we worked out, and he had his ways, and I just kind of, like, didn't know any better, so I just bought in completely, because I couldn't tell you.
To what Ed was telling you?
Yeah, just working out, and, I am the man I am today in the sense of the gym because of him. I owe it to him. I hope he listens to this. If not, everyone's just going to call me an idiot. But
you just got to text him and be like, yo, fucking, you better listen to this.
Yeah, he's the man. He is. He's cool. He's my buddy.
You still hit the gym on the regular? What's your routine?
Yeah, I'm trying to get there 5 days a week. I actually was just, I owe a plug to these two. Not to plug everybody else, but... No,
do it. That's like, do as much of that shit as you want.
Northeast Philly, there's a gym called CrossFit Raid. I wasn't into the CrossFit gimmick or whatever. And I'm still not. Like, I'm not like, oh, I love CrossFit. But
yeah.
I went there last summer because I was stagnant, or last spring, and they helped me with a ton.
What do you think came first? Do you think you had this is a better way of asking. Do you think you had the brain before you had the body?
Well, without a doubt. I don't know if I had to work, but I understood what to do sometimes. And, you know, no one ever has it fully. Like I was, you know, I'm still learning every night I'm in the ring that you're there or whomever's there. And and that's cliche, but it's true.
Sure.
But I definitely was fairly good as a fat guy. Not in any real like, oh, this guy can make WWE good, but I was good for my small pond. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
I was okay or serviceable. My matches weren't like turn the TV off. I'm sure if we watch them now, they are comparatively. But
if we're gonna compare, yeah.
But everything perception's reality. Like if you turn on the TV and you saw me back then or you saw me now and the work's the exact same, you're just going to think I'm better because of the presentation I can give you. Presentation's a big deal in pro wrestling, and not everybody realizes that. And that goes for everything, whether it's your hair's out of place or your tights look good or if you're in shape or, you know, like, and this is maybe a weirdly off-the-wall comparison, but like Paul Orndorff was in great shape his whole life.
Mm-hmm.
He got the thing where his left arm went real skinny. It was just weird to watch him wrestle. I'm sure
Really?
health risk.
I've never seen that.
Watch WCW like 92, 91, 93 or Paul Orndorff. It is a neck thing and it's like seriously bad injury. I'm sure the injury took him away, but as a fan, you're looking and his forearm went from like Paul Orndorff form, like Popeye in right hand and left hand was like my sister. And so, oh, what the fuck? It was weird, you know. Perception.
Looks like he spent all day beating off or something.
I don't want to joke about it. Like I think it was like serious.
Paul Orndorff used to be my boy, dude. He used to be my boy. I can say that, but now I don't know if he is anymore. Paul Orndorff made a Twitter.
What?
He made a Twitter account. He added me on Twitter for God knows what reason, because I said I was excited that he made one, and he's probably like, oh, this guy, people know who he is. I'm going to be his friend. I got Paul Orndorff is sending me direct messages being like, how do I get verified on Twitter? So that led to me being like, I'll help you with this if I can basically like just ask you anything I ever want to ask you ever, and you actually talk to me. And that's kind of how it worked out for a bit. This is a fucking fact. I'll say this all over the internet. And then Paul Orndorff, one day I found out, deleted his Twitter account, and now, like, I don't know. If I saw him on the street, I'd be like, you remember that kid Zach you followed on the internet? That's me. That's like what I would say, and hopefully he'd remember.
I hope Paul Orndorff listens to this. I meant no disrespect.
No, dude, we both love Paul Orndorff, man.
If you join Twitter, I'll help you. I
know. Well, I wanted to help him. I feel like he got pissed off.
I'm sorry to hear that.
I feel like he got pissed off and left.
Hey, wait, can I ask you a question, Zach? I've been thinking about
Go ahead.
Did you post the guy you interviewed last week yet?
Yeah. Why?
Oh, I got to listen to it. No, I'm a big fan of James.
He's cool.
He's a cool dude. I'm happy for all his success. I texted him the other week. He kind of ignored my text.
Fan of yours, too.
No, he's really nice, proper dude, professional. I want to listen to that. I didn't know.
What'd you say? Go ahead. He ignored your text.
Yeah, I shot him a text one day. I think he was in Vegas or something. I follow him on Snapchat, and you know me on Snapchat.
Yeah.
Weird. I deleted it, but I deleted it because I got data problems and I got to save money. But
dude, this guy's the funniest person on the history of Snapchat. But anyway, yeah, Riley's cool.
Yeah, no, he's a real cool dude. I want to make sure I check that out.
Dude, because if you watch it, you'll see it in the beginning of the interview, but it's the truth. Only reason me and him are friends, he actually said he came up to me and like got someone to introduce him to me at a Man Overboard show years ago, and I was just like, I think I was hanging with my dad and I was smoking a blunt, and I was just like, hey kid, like whatever, hi. And that was it. And he like told me that story, and I was like, dude, that's insane. And then this summer in 2015, he walked up to me and went, don't you ref at OTW? So I was like, oh, sit down, come to my bus, hang out. You want a fucking beer? So then that's why we became friends, just because he name dropped you guys.
Well, I think I was thinking about this the other day because that kid who I said his sister's a big fan of yours. I won't mention any names.
Yeah.
But we were talking about that the other day or whatever, and he's a great kid. But I was thinking to myself, like, I wonder, that's probably why I get along with Zach. No offense, Zach. I didn't know who Man Overboard was.
I don't
guy. So to me, you were just like, hey, this cool guy. He's friends with Ike, and Ike's my boy. And we had some fun together. And then you liked wrestling that didn't suck, so I was into that too.
Yeah. I appreciate that. I tried to
of Zach, and now a big fan of Man Overboard. You're in my phone. I have a scheduled date with Man Overboard in my phone.
That rules. I appreciate that very much. I didn't, because going to OTW and showing up there and seeing if you guys would train me in any way, that was the first time I had to like kind of look. Oh, now you can see it. Now you can see it. Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's in there, man.
Hell yeah.
April 17th. All right,
It'll
go ahead. Go ahead. Continue.
I was just gonna say, when I went into OTW, that was the first time in so many years at that point that I had to put myself out there in any way. And like, I don't want to say I had to because it was all my choice. It was the first time I fell into like a rhythm for years where I wasn't, and I'm not, if you listen to this and you don't know about Man Overboard, I'm not trying to make you think we were the biggest band in the world, but we had some shit going for us. It was cool enough to the point that I could have surrounded myself for years and years with only people who knew who I was, only, and gotten treated special by everyone, which kind of was happening like every day for a couple years. And going to that place was the first time that I put myself out there again in a few years and was just like, I'm just some guy. I don't want to be. And I remember going in there thinking, I don't want to talk about my band. I don't want to. And Adam Chandler is another great guy Brian was talking about earlier, who's at OTW. I remember him saying to me, yo, are you in this band, Man Overboard? And this is my time. I've known him. Yeah, but I had known him for like, I didn't, this was like my third time meeting Adam. And then I'm like, yeah. And he's like, he's like, I've heard of your band, yo. Like, someone's a really big fan of his boy, and I didn't want to. He said, I appreciate you not big timing us. And I was like, dude, I can't like big time you. I'm not like what you think. But the fact that he said that, I appreciated, because that meant he was paying attention to the fact. That meant he noted that I tried not to be a dickhead. Are you trying to get someone's attention?
I want to introduce my mom. She makes it all happen. Come here, Mom.
Yeah, come on.
Bathrobe. She's a little embarrassed.
Tell her to just do like one of these, like where she just gets ahead in.
Snuck in to see what was going on here. This is my mother, everybody. You got to get down here, Mom. Come all the way down so they can see you. That's my mom right there.
Hi, Mrs. Johnson.
He said, hi, Mrs. Johnson.
Hi.
She's the queen of the household and the boss. Don't let my dad hear that, but she's the boss of the household.
And without her unending support, OTW would be depraved of a leader.
No. He put you over, Mom. You're famous now. You're going to be on a podcast worldwide.
She's like, ah, shit.
Well, yeah. Well, no, they're not going to podcast with you, Mom.
Oh, I thought maybe it was.
Well, we'll see what happens. I'll talk to them.
Maybe I'll get famous.
Yeah, maybe you'll be famous. It'll be for that bathroom, Mom.
Why don't you have her come down? Why don't you have the ring girls, the OTW, have your mom?
I don't know nothing about that.
You can give her some sort of job.
No, she stays away. She gets worried about me. She worries about me.
Does she?
She's my little angel. Does
she tense up if she sees you about to take like a back body drop or something?
No idea. My dad doesn't like taking her because she just squeezes his hand and covers her eyes.
Really?
Yeah, and like she likes certain guys, so like if they get beat up, she gets real upset. Yeah.
Because they're like her son's friends.
Mm-hmm. And then like if he's there, since like I run the place sort of, and like the bathroom's not clean enough. She's like, that bathroom's why do you let the bathroom look like that? I'm like, Mom, the popcorn didn't look that clean. I was like, no, what you? Okay, sorry.
Well, that's just being your mom, but I mean, as a way, how you're describing the way she reacts to matches, she sounds like the perfect wrestling fan.
Oh, she's the best. She believes she does. She does. I try to get her to watch some of them on YouTube with me every now and again, and she'll play along. And she knows I'm a big John Cena fan, so like if a pay-per-view's on, she just comes down there and asks what he's doing to make me happy. But,
that's cool. Yeah, so she pretends to give a shit.
Yeah, she's a John Cena mark at heart. I mean, we're having fun. I'm excited that you asked me on it. So how'd you get about this? How'd you get the podcast? Russo reached out to you after your podcast with him?
Yeah, so I was on, the way I got it was I was lucky enough, I guess I already knew you.
Yeah, you had told me that you were going.
Maybe like April. Vince didn't have Twitter for
Yeah, he blows it up now.
He waited too long to get on it, frankly. So when he finally got on it, I followed him, and I happened to get in there when he only had like 600 followers, something like that. First few hours, I feel like, that he had like a Twitter account. Mm-hmm. So when Vince was still, I'm sure if like verified people follow Vince now, he doesn't give a shit. But and he was new to Twitter then. Like, he won't say this to me, but I'm sure this is what it is. He's new to Twitter then. Seeing this blue checkpoint, he's like, who's this guy? Like, so he followed me back. I can't take this away from him. So he said that he ended up looking me up and listening to Man Overboard, and he became a fan of the music. And he invited me to be on the show. And when I was on tour this summer, he came to my show. Vince came to my show with his wife. Dude, it was insane. The listeners will like this story. I thought Vince would come only because he said he would, But I didn't care. He wouldn't have hurt my feelings if he didn't come. Like, I felt good enough anyway that he was like my friend and like was being nice to me and stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
We roll up to his town. I don't hear from him all day. I text him. I'm like, I'm going on at like 4:30 because it's Warped. It's like a festival. It runs during the daytime. Yeah. I think he's like, bro, I'm debating it. Something like, I don't know. There's traffic, but I'm only 15 minutes away. I'm like, whatever. I don't care. It's all good. I went on stage. I'll never forget this. While I was playing, and I was just doing my thing and not really caring. And I looked out and I looked to my left, and I see Vince fucking Russo standing in the crowd, like watching us, his arms crossed. And I remember thinking, man, I don't mean this fat Vince, I mean this tall. I remember thinking he's so much bigger than I thought he was. Like Vince could have like roughed people up. Like Vince could have, like, I mean, he got in the ring in WCW, but if he'd have taken a whole different career path, like he's not a small guy.
Oh, really?
He's still not. He's not. Vince is not small. And I remember being like, oh, shit, dude. So then he came to the side of the stage, and after I was done, he said, I want to come hang out with you on your bus, but is there any – I have my wife with me. Is there anything that's on your bus that she shouldn't see? And I said, nah, man, as long as you guys are both cool with copious amounts of marijuana. And Vince was like, yeah, we're fine, but that doesn't offend us. And I was like, okay, cool. So then we hung out, and I also, Jeff Lane, who's producing this show, who the brand knows very well, I don't really need to introduce. Jeff came out to hang out with me as well at my show in Jeff City. So at that, and we had a great time together. So at that point, I was kind of friends with Vince, friends with Vince's helper and assistant, and it was just like I was in.
Cool, man.
You know?
That's pretty.
My whole life's worked like that, man. I think it's wrestling and music and all things where you're trying to make a name for yourself. You gotta like just wriggle yourself into. It's the same thing I did with OTW. You just put yourself somewhere because that's what you want. Like, I remember sitting on Google, like, I want friends who are wrestlers. I want friends who are pro. None of my friends want to talk to me about wrestling. None of my friends can appreciate that I put a lot of thought into this and that I'm going to understand it. I want friends who are wrestlers, so I went to OTW and I just, like, got some.
And now you randomly text me about, like, Sting in 1997 on a Tuesday.
Yeah. Oh, now I have someone to do that with.
Yeah, no, I'm glad. I enjoy it. It does make me feel good.
But you know, it's the same thing. That's just what you got to do. It's like I said I'm going to become, you know, I love Vince and Jeff, but I wriggled myself into this. I weaseled my way into this show, having this show on Vince's network, just like I weaseled everything my band ever did, because you have to weasel.
No, you shouldn't say weasel, no, because you went out and got it, you know.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I'm a big follower of Rip Rogers on Twitter.
Me too. He's crazy, man. Talk
Dude,
about his tweets for people who don't follow him.
If you don't follow Rip Rogers on Twitter and you're a pro wrestler, you're not a pro wrestler. Dude, he tweets about
it's a lot of tweets for wrestlers, right?
He tells stories, he teaches lessons, and like I was lucky enough to go out there and train with him last year, and it was one of the best learning lessons, 4 hours I've ever spent in my life. And I did a seminar with him the year previous, and the dude knows so much about wrestling, just tells it how it is. Like, hey, you want to be in wrestling? Well, why are you spending Saturday night drinking at a bar? And trust me, I've spent and will spend plenty more instead of working at a show. Or why or Sunday morning are you not getting up because you're watching football when you could be at the gym? And he calls it as it is. Like, he's almost my guilty conscience on social media.
I think he's a lot of wrestlers' guilty conscience. That's what he's going for. He
just gets it, and he's not afraid to tell you, like, yo, that sucked. Yo, that's the drizzling shits, or any other curse word you can think of. He said, and he's awesome, such a good follow. But
you trained with him in person? You got the chance to do that?
Yeah, I met him twice. I think Rip would know me. I don't think he'll listen to this, but if he did,
he probably won't.
Hey, he's a great grab if you could get on this podcast. He is.
My God.
Guys, but man, you might have to censor a lot of your shit. He is one crazy son.
That's Vince Russo. He should go on Vince Russo's podcast.
Dude, he's crazy son of a bitch, but he gets it. And I'm sure Vince gets it.
What was he, like USWA and that type of thing, Rip Rogers?
Yeah, he was all over the place. He did Florida, and he was big in Memphis. He always talks about Macho. He's a big Macho guy. I think Lanny and Macho helped him. Lanny being Macho's brother. Mm-hmm. And then he was the OVW trainer when Lesnar and Cena and Randy Orton and all those guys came through. Yeah, he was the head trainer of OVW. He's still down there, but it's just no affiliation to WWE. Yeah, he's an old school motherfucker, and he's.
Honestly, he's a name I knew. He's somebody I see when I watch old wrestling, but because I never trained to be a wrestler or anything until I saw until he had a Twitter account. Only then did I really see the real holy shitness of Rip Rogers. He's insane.
There's not him in pro wrestling. There's not. There's so many guys that want to kiss your ass and tell you to, oh, that was great, yet they didn't watch your match, or, oh, you know, I'm going to help you out with this, and they never do. That's the problem with pro wrestling. No one's real. I mean, you know what's sad? The wrestling in the ring almost becomes more real than the bullshit you deal with in the back, because so many people are out for themselves, which I guess in an individual sport you have to be. But, you know, how many guys have told 1,000 other guys, oh, I'll help you get on the show, and never picked up a goddamn phone, or, oh, your match was great, but they didn't fucking watch it, and it probably wasn't great, because if it was great, I wouldn't be here wrestling with you, jackass.
Yeah.
See, that's grumpy old. That's the truth. And
no, but you know what? You're speaking like someone who gives a fuck about what you're doing.
Yeah, it's just you want to get better, and that's one thing that's what we tried OTW, or at least I tried, just like tell the people the truth, like.
I guess it's a struggle I guess that's the old thing. I don't know this from experience, but I've heard a lot of people on other podcasts that are older and have experience in wrestling say that, you know, kind of what you're saying. The wrestlers are always working each other.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And for various reasons. And some of them, like, really shitty, like, working you so they could get to your girlfriend, or working you to get your money, or working you to get the next meal, or working you to get your spot, or this, that, the other, you know, just bullshit in pro wrestling. It's weird. Someone I talked to about this before, like, you know, in sports, Steph Curry's the best basketball player, right?
Mm-hmm.
And let's say the 12th man on his team is Joe Smith. I don't know if that's her name, you know, whatever his name is. That guy, Steph Curry, has no problem telling him, hey, you suck tonight. You should have gotten that rebound. Why in pro wrestling can't someone understand, like, hey, I'm not Kobe Bryant. I'm not Steph Curry. I'm not, you know what I mean? Like, everyone to be nice and play games, but in their backs, they're stabbing in the back. I'd rather you tell me, yeah, you're probably a 7th man on the bench. You kind of suck. Get better at rebounding than, dude, that was a great effort. You went 0 for 12 tonight, but it was the best 0 for 12 I've ever fucking seen. Fuck you.
Yeah. It's kind of like in the world of video games, you would say, people always say with video games it either has a really good community or a bad community, meaning when you get online in this game for the first time, people are either going to say, fuck you, you're new, you suck, or they're going to be like, you're new, I'll help you. And I guess you're describing a bad community kind of.
Yeah, well, you know, I have no problem with people not being good at something, or as long as they're putting the effort forth. Like, if you're actually trying at pro wrestling, you can always get better in some way, because no one has the perfect body. Because if you had the perfect body, you'd be in WWE, and no one has the best punches or the perfect kick or the perfect body. You know what I mean? Like, there's something you can make yourself better at every day. So as long as you're trying, and that's the big thing I pushed at 90% of the guys at OTW do, and I love about it, and that's why I keep going, because they try. And the guys that train on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, you know who you are. I love all yous, but they're trying to get better.
No, listen.
I'm putting my time and heart into their stuff, since they're putting an effort back. The guys that don't put an effort in, I don't have time for. Fuck off. See ya.
Yeah, I've seen you. I don't even remember names. Oh, actually, yes, I do, but I won't. I've seen you. I've seen you get over people and decide that, you know, they weren't worth it.
Yeah, and don't say the names. You know.
No, I won't. It's not. It's all good. But, you know, I hear the same thing. Rip Rogers has tweeted stuff about that before, and I've listened to some other. I've heard a lot of stuff on podcasts and stuff, and trainers talking about. A guy can walk in on the first day, and you feel like you get kind of a read for him right then and there if he means business or not. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, without a doubt. But yeah, I think I was a little. I don't think you can be judgmental though in wrestling. Like that's
what I was going to say. That's the other side of the coin. So where do you think's the balance?
The proof, actions speak louder than words. You know what I mean? Like we have a kid. We have 2 kids training right now, and one's, like the emo-looking kid, kind of heavy set. The other kid is super skinny and doesn't look like he should be in a track meet in 7th grade, not wrestling in the ring. But those dudes bust their ass. You know what I mean? If I would have judged them by the way they walked through the door just on appearance, it would never got anywhere. And the one was really quiet, and the one was a little cocky. So both of them kind of didn't have a great wrestling personality. But now I love them both. They kick ass. And
they never stopped showing up. They never got pissed off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Whereas I've had other people, or I've heard of other people, or have heard stories from other guys, or you witness it on TV where guys are $1 million, or they're a football star, or they're this, or they're that, or they're whatever, and they don't make it because they don't want it. I think wanting it and actually wanting it, there's a difference between saying you want something and not actually want it. Like, I want a sandwich. Well, do I really want that sandwich? No.
Yeah.
kill a pig to slice the ham and go pasteurize a cow for the milk, and I don't really want that sandwich.
Yeah.
Stretch for sure, me going a little crazy.
No, that's an awesome way of putting it.
Like the guys that want it usually at least get a chance to make it. They might not all make it because when you get to the big stage, there's only so many spots. It's, think about it. It's easier to make the NFL than it is to make it in the WWE. There's less spots.
It's gotta be. There's more spots.
I mean, just numbers alone, the NFL has 32 teams at 52 roster spots or 51 roster spots. Okay, well,
there's like hundreds of dudes in the NFL I've never heard of.
Yeah, there's 100 people in the WWE, and then after that, like NFL Europe isn't that bad, or NFL Canada's not that bad, whatever it is. Whereas like the WWE, you don't have that. You could go to ROH if they like you and you fit that style, and then.
What do? You go to Japan.
Yeah, and who knows? And those guys do great. And trust me, if Japan called me today and said they'd fly me out there, see ya, I'm going.
Yeah, peace.
Hey, Japan, if you're listening, call me. Put my number down here. Tell your director to get it down there. And but the other thing with wrestling I wanted to bring up, and I can't remember what I was going to say now. I got on a little tangent there.
It's all right. It happens.
Something, work hard, assholes. I don't know. Like, that's just the easiest way to put it. If you work hard, something's going to show up. This is it. And it's tough with wrestling because in the NFL, they have a combine. You run a 40 at this size, you jump this high, you do that. I'm a big sports guy, so I'm good with the comparisons. But in WWE, like, they don't want everyone to be the same, and not everybody likes the same stuff. Like, I bet agent number 1 thinks person A is the best wrestler because he can do X, Y, Z, but agent number 2 may like person B because he does the F better. You know what I mean? And
I've never thought of that before ever. That's crazy because it's subjective on what is good, whereas with other sports, it's not opinion.
Oh yeah, like, and you probably like wrestlers I don't like. I'm sure we've had that conversation. You hear me?
Yeah.
And I roll for it. And there's guys I like that people are like, what? And I get it. And everyone appeals to people differently. And it's like you have to somehow find a way to be liked by so many different agents to the point where they just like you enough to give you a contract. Then so many agents have to like you enough that you get to TV. And then it's a crazy world of swirling bullshit. But I honestly wouldn't trade. It's cliche. I wouldn't trade it for the world.
I know you would.
Probably. You know what? If I could own the world, I'd probably give up wrestling. You're gonna own the world. You're gonna have more money than God, and you're just gonna do whatever the fuck you want.
But you can't wrestle. You can't wrestle though.
But can I watch it?
Yeah.
And like sit in your basement and like.
Yeah, you could own a promotion. You can't get in the ring.
But I own the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, I probably do.
Yeah.
Okay, owning the world.
I would do the same thing with music. I would never touch a guitar again. Own the world.
Yeah, like you own the world. That's a pretty big deal, man.
I remember what I wanted to ask you.
Sorry about my tangent.
It's okay. So you're talking about you got. You said you ended up getting a good job. That's what you said.
Yeah.
Do you think it's really important for a guy trying to make it in wrestling to have an employer that like they can that maybe not? Do you feel like your employer either understands or at least makes it easy for you to? Obviously, there's some level of flexibility because you're doing your thing while working there.
Well, if I wanted to, I could do the wrestling and my employer wouldn't know that I was doing it. I work 9 to 5.
Do you think that's important for guys who want to go out and be a wrestler to find a place to work like they can kind of finagle
things?
things?
I got lucky. I work a 9 to 5 Monday to Friday. No wrestling places run those days, and if I go off, I can. For sure, yeah. Having a job that allows you to do it, yeah.
Because I think with being in a band, that's one of the biggest pieces of advice I've given younger people. Is like, dude, in the beginning you got to find someone who would like give you some sort of, even if it's like whatever job. And they like believe in you or something. I don't know.
I don't mind putting it on the air. My job, if anyone listens to it from here, I'm not gonna say where I work, but I've told them like there was times when I wanted to leave. I was mad about this decision, that I don't now. I love what I do. What I do now, I'm really happy with. But I couldn't leave because, dude, it's so perfect for wrestling. You're right. Yeah, I never thought about that. Yeah, hey,
it's a really big thing, man.
I never thought about it that way. Like, I just happened to get lucky and fall into it. So to me, it was always, it works. And the other guys that I liked were guys that were trying hard. So they had jobs that worked. But I never thought, like, they try hard and are able to try hard because of jobs. Yeah, so
like if you got to think, like, if you had to work somewhere else tomorrow for whatever reason, if that would affect your wrestling, then you got a great job for you right now.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, I never even thought about it that way. That's a really good point, and maybe something I should I should start pointing out to the kids at training. I know,
You should. Well, because I was just thinking when I'm doing this show, I want people to, ideally in my brain, there's like some 15-year-old kids who have never stepped foot in the ring who are watching this, listening to you, because this guy does what I want to do. So I want to hear about a real person who's just like going for it. So I think that's like valuable information.
Well, if I'm going to give the best advice I tell them to get in shape, dude,
Right away. You know what? You're right, because all the indie wrestlers have some transformation period. Just do it, right? Right when you start.
I wasted at least 3 years, if not more, just farting around, not getting in shape, and for a lot of good reasons. Like I'm sure I have some fun memories at college that I won't say on air that cost me 3 days in the gym or whatever. But you know what? What if I was signed right now? Then I'd give up those. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying I would be signed if I went to the gym, but it would have been a lot easier road. Like people wouldn't look at me to take even outside bookings to other indie shows because of my size and the way I look. And now, even when sometimes a booker or a promoter may ask me for some younger talent, and some of my guys, they're just like, dude, he looks like a kid, or oh, he's out of shape. And it sucks because I know they can work their balls off, but perception is reality. If they perceive you to look like a wrestler, sometimes it just makes you one. I mean, there's stories about it all the way back in the day. Like they found, Big Show's a great worker. I'm not picking him, but he was just on Austin's podcast and said that because he was 7 foot, Hogan went up and said he had money on him. Like, oh yeah, money. Well, he had nothing to do with his physical talent at the time, and he became a great worker, and he's a legend. But like for him to come out and he got it because he was 7 foot, or how many guys got it because they were football players, or like Lesnar's just a look at him, he's a freak, and he's great. Lesnar's great, but
he can fight too, like for real.
Yeah, and he got all that stuff, but like.
Roman Reigns is just a football player, not just a football player, but you guys.
He's got, but yeah, exactly. Just like think of some like Lex Luger's a big one. He's got a body of $1 million that some guys claim they don't like. I don't know. I've never met him, but there's a guy that just look at him. He's a pro wrestler. Bang, he had a job, and he probably got pushed for it. And look at thousands of other people that have probably been on TV that just had a look that were like, oh God, they're found everywhere. And
I think you're right about that perception being reality. I used to think when I was younger, at the beginning of our band, I used to think that if I acted like, because I read this in Marilyn Manson's book, and it worked to a degree, I used to think that if I acted like a rock star, I would be a rock star. Do you think that translates to wrestling?
Without a doubt. Don't be a mark. I try to teach some of the guys that in the locker room. You carry yourself like a worker, and you carry yourself like a professional. It's a huge deal.
It's a shame because you almost have to be less impressed by things than you really are on the inside. But that's the name of the game, really, because you don't want to look like a noob.
Like for instance, like if some other guy in a band, I don't know music. If a band that's level to yours walked in to your party one day, would you freak out? And, oh my God, I love all your stuff. But dude,
no. And if I was with a friend who freaked out, I'd be like, don't do that. And if I was with a girl who freaked out, I'd be like, you're embarrassing me.
Yeah. So there's a way to like handle it. You could walk up, hey, I listen to your stuff. Good work. And even that maybe in wrestling gets chipped away at being wrong, but I don't think that's a problem. But
yeah, the bands are the same way. It's just kind of like, yo, dude, I actually like half one of your CDs. It's pretty fucking.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's like I actually. And in reality, you know every word to that record.
Exactly, but you play dumb. Oh, I saw one of your matches. You worked that dude I worked 6 months ago, and it was pretty crisp.
Really? You watched it like that day?
Yeah, I watched it 6 times earlier. I memorized all your crap.
Oh, yeah.
So
do you think that's bad? Do you think it's bad that people are like that with bands and wrestling and all stuff, or do you think it's how it's got to be?
I don't know. If the other way was for me to welcome back, I watched all your stuff. I know all your spots. I don't know. It sounds a lot
then
worse.
You're weird.
Yeah, exactly. And wrestling's weird enough as it is, so we don't need any more weird added to it. We need a lot more normal somehow. And I'm going to bring it with this podcast, bro.
Yeah, that's an awesome thing. That's an awesome headline for me to kind of start to wrap this up on, is that we need less weird in wrestling and they need more normal. I want to ask you, is there anything before we wrap this up that you got to get off your chest, or anything you want to put over, or anybody you want to shout out, or anything at all?
I would be hard-pressed to not put OTW over. They are, without a doubt, more than the place that I train, more than my home. They're my family, and I love them all. Anyone listening to this that's ever been in those ropes, I love you. And I mean that, and that's probably going to get me some heat from other places, or people laugh at me for being a mark, but that's my spot, and I love them. Not to sit there. There's a lot of other good people, and one of them, I'll give him a little shout. Damian Adams does me a lot of good. He's a good guy that took care of me and looks after me. And then all the other stuff, like I got great friends, great family. Like, guys, making it in pro wrestling, yeah, you can do it on your own, for sure. There's tons of people out there with no one that work their ass off and grind it and can do it. I'm so lucky that I have the most amazing support group around me, from friends to family to work to girlfriend and OTW and this and that. And then, like, heck, like the lead singer of Man Overboard, you know.
Yeah!
Like,
I'm just kidding.
I have met a ton of people, and they always say that you got to be lucky sometimes before you get famous, or you got to fake your way to get good. And I'm just really lucky to have the outlets and the people around me, because without them I wouldn't be here. And where am I in the grand scheme of things? Fucking nowhere. But I will be one day, and I hope everyone knows that's ever been around that's been a part of getting me there, that I appreciate it, and I hope that when I'm there that you're all there to enjoy with me. I do mean that.
All right, dude, this is Brian Johnson. He's extremely well-spoken. He's very easy to talk to. Brian, hang around, because I want to talk to you for a sec when we get off the air.
Yeah, for sure, bro.
But that's it, guys. Thank you for tuning into this episode of The Drive. If me and Brian could do this all night, and we're already past the point that any normal person is going to listen to this whole thing in one sitting.
I hope they get that last part. That was good.
They will. So... That's it, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Keep in touch to @BrandRusso on Twitter. Brian's got one more thing. Do you?
Oh, no, that was just me putting up the one. You keep rolling, brother.
Okay.
I didn't think they could see me, so I was just making signs. Do whatever you want.
All right. I'm gonna put up Brian's stuff. I'm gonna put up OTW stuff. Well, hopefully, once this is edited, you'll have all seen all the links and everything. Go check that stuff out, guys. If you live in Pennsylvania, if you live in Delaware, if you live in South Jersey, or even North Jersey, Williamstown's kind of down there. It's not super south, but they do. Brian, correct me if I'm wrong. 2 p.m. every single Saturday, one Saturday a month, 7 p.m., right?
Yep.
When's that stop?
Memorial Day week. So we go Labor Day to Memorial Day weekend, guys. And then in the summer, we run once a month. Check the website. Old Time Wrestling's got everything. We got a great website guy. It's basic, but it kicks ass, and he knows what he's doing. It's always updated, so he's good with that stuff.
Cool. So it's twitter.com, OTW updates.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it, guys. Thanks for watching my show. I'm going to let Jeff do his thing. Peace out.
Visit VinceRussoBrand.com to sign up for exclusive VIP content. You get over 20 new video shows monthly, including Vixens Who Rule and The Swerve, where Vince Russo interviews stars in wrestling and beyond. Listen to Vince and Jeff Lane discuss weekly news and rumor and review Attitude Era Raws. Also, watch the cult hit Bucket Full of Chicken next. Go to VinceRussoBrand.com and click the red subscribe button to join now.